Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the nominees for the Academy Awards and who I think should win this weekend in those awards. I have to say that I'm not looking forward to the ceremony as such. It has been a little bit too much. I think I don't really like some of the aspects they've been trying to push. I'm fed up with the music and the shows. I mean, it's not a show, it's just a presentation of awards about movies. I don't know why they have to make it a show and like with performances. I mean, someone cares apparently because they always push that, but I'm not really fond of that. I just want to know who wins every award, so that's why we're talking in this video. I'm going to list most of the categories right here. I'm going to list them from my most favorite to my least favorite in number 5, and then I'm going to give a little star to the one I think is going to win the award, and also I'm going to give a bonus for the movie or the person that I think should have been in that final list. So let's see what the categories are. The first one we're going to talk about is Best Animated Feature Film, and here are the nominees as you can see. I mean, my favorite one out of these 5 was Encanto, but I have to say that I have seen many more better movies that are animated. There was a lot of animation this year for sure. As you can see, I put Sing 2 as my bonus movie, and I think my favorite movie from 2021 as animation goes. I mean, Encanto was fine, and Raya I really enjoyed it. Luca also is really endearing, and Flea is just something different, and the Mitchells of the versus the Machines is really entertaining. But I mean, Sing 2 was my personal favorite. As who will win, it's clear is Encanto. I think it has the most nominations of an animated film this year with Flea. So yeah. Best Cinematography, these are the nominees. As you can see, I agree that The Power of the Dog should win and will win this award. I think it has a beautiful cinematography, the most beautiful and well used out of the 5 nominees. My least favorite was West Side Story, because although Steven Spielberg did something really interesting with the choreography and such, I don't think it's used in the best way to illustrate the story. I'm not in love with that aspect of the movie, and I thought Passing had a beautiful cinematography that should have been recognized, especially because it was black and white. The spaces it was confined to were very interesting, and I don't think any of these nominees has that. I would have loved to have seen that movie, but yeah, my favorite out of these is clearly The Power of the Dog. For Best Costume Design, I think that Cruella had the best costumes by far this year. I mean, all the other nominees are really good. I'm not mad about any of them, to be honest, but I do think Cruella was a movie about fashion, and that's a big push. That's a big thing. So I think it should win, and it will win the award. I think The French Dispatch was horribly snubbed of this category, because although the movie is not really that good, the technical and artistic aspects of this movie are actually quite nice, and I think it should have been here for its costumes. I think it was clearly better than West Side Story or Nightmare Alley, that are movies that we have seen that type of costumes before. Nightmare Alley especially, I don't even understand why they nominated that movie, because there were tons of other movies that were better than that, and it's kind of a lazy choice. Same for West Side Story, but Cruella is going to win this for sure. For Best Film Editing, I mean, this is a kind of a tricky category, because you really have to remember what the movie was edited like, and that's kind of difficult to remember if you haven't seen the movie in a while. But my favorite of this bunch has to be Tick Tick Boom, because the editing of the movie really matches the way the main character talks about the movie and talks about his life as the movie progresses, and how he attaches one thing to the other, and everything like kind of makes sense, and it's like a puzzle, if you will. I mean, it really makes sense, and it's the best film editing out of these ones. However, seeing as this movie has only 2 nominations overall, I don't think it's that possible that it's going to win. It could surprise, but I don't think it's kind of possible it will win. But, I mean, honestly, I think it's between Dune, The Power of the Dog, or Don't Look Up. But I think Don't Look Up is going to get that extra thing to win, because it's an interesting movie about how reactions work. One people say something, and then the next thing is about that, then the next thing, and it has nice editing. It would only be the only win for this movie, and I think that kind of fits the idea, and I think No Time to Die for its action scenes, and it's emotionally driven, so that makes the editing a little bit more interesting than, for example, King Richard or The Power of the Dog. For Best International Feature Film, I think it's clear that Drive My Car will win this award, and it's my favorite also because it's the one out of these ones that has the most nominations. I mean, it's also nominated for Best Picture, so it obviously is going to win this award. I mean, if any surprise is given, maybe Flea, I would think, would surprise, but I mean, I don't think it's really that possible. They want to reward the movie that they reward with all the nominations for sure, so Drive My Car has that in the bag. As for movies that should have been there, I mean, replacing, for example, The Hand of God, from Italy, which I think it's a very, usual movie, to be honest. It's not really that different. Titan from France or Memoria from Colombia should have been better choices, to be honest, because I don't think The Hand of the God is that much of an interesting choice. Even if those movies were in the category, Drive My Car will still win. I mean, that's obvious. For Best Makeup and Hairstyling, June is my favorite of these nominees because if you watch the movie really closely, the makeup is just insane. With all the sand, with all the gooey stuff, with all the different kind of lighting, and I mean the hair also enters in that conversation. I think it's really well done. I think that in this category particularly, the Academy tends to go with the flashier designs for hair and makeup. So I think The Eyes of Tammy Faye has the best chance to do that because it's a movie that's to an extent about someone's makeup and about how someone looks, and it shows the transformation a little bit of this person who is Tammy Faye. So I mean, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, you see, it's my number 2, but I think Dune is a little bit better in that category. I think all the nominees are quite good in this category, to be honest, but I would have loved to see Nightmare Alley here. They do something really interesting with the neo-noir aspects of the movie and of course the circus storyline, if you will. I would have loved it to see here, but again, for me, my favorite is Dune, but I think The Eyes of Tammy Faye is going to take this one. For Best Original Score, I think this is kind of weird, but the one that I think is going to win is my least favorite. I mean, Encanto has a nice score. I'm not hating on it or anything, but I think it's the same Pixar kind of score we have heard before. And at this point, it has been dozens, maybe hundreds of times. I don't even know how many Pixar films there are, Disney films, if you will, but they all sound the same. And I know the Academy is in love with that. Encanto did have a lot of praise for its music, and the original song that was nominated was not everyone's favorite, so I think this is the one that they are going to reward the movie with. I think The French Dispatch, that had a score by Alexandre Desplat, should have been nominated here because that one was just perfection. My favorite of the bunch, as you can see, is Dune because Hans Zimmer is just, I mean, he has me. He is an amazing composer. I love everything he does in every single movie, so sorry, he's my favorite. And Parallel Mothers had such a beautiful, subtle score that I think it should also be really considered because it's really amazing. But I think Encanto is going to take this award. For Best Original Song, some of these songs play over the final credits, which is kind of cheating. I mean, I'm tired of that. The songs should be primarily, just featured in the movie in order to be eligible for these awards, but that's not the case. I think Be Alive from King Richard, sang and written actually by Beyonce, is going to win, and this is the moment that everyone wants to see, and the Academy wants to, raise the rating basically, which is Beyonce receiving an Academy Award. Look what it happened with Lady Gaga, and what happened with Adele, and what happened with Sam Smith. The same is going to happen with Beyonce for sure. So she's going to win this. I mean, I don't even doubt it. It's kind of my favorite song, but to be very honest, none of these songs is really that good. I mean, they're fine, they're nice, they're serviceable, but they're not great songs for movies, to be honest. I don't love them. I think Just Look Up from Don't Look Up should have been there, sung by Ariana Grande. I don't know if she wrote the song, but that was interesting because it really played into the movie, which I think it's like key. So For Best Production Design, my favorite by far was The Tragedy of Macbeth. I was so impressed and shocked and in awe of this beautiful art direction and set design because it was simple but very angular, very theatrical, very amazing. It was just so good, and I would love this movie to win that Academy Award, at least one. I mean, just one award. Sadly, I think The Power of the Dog has this in the bag simply because it has the most nominations, and they will have to give something else to this movie, not only the big awards. So I think The Power of the Dog has the lead in this one. But if The Tragedy of Macbeth wins, I'm going to go crazy. And even Dune, I think, was a nice science fiction production design, although not the best I have ever seen, to be honest, in science fiction. Many other sci-fi movies have been much better in that department. So that's why I put Tragedy of Macbeth first. The French Dispatch should also be here because that's one of the best aspects of this movie, and it wasn't here. So it's like, okay, for me, Macbeth, but I think The Power of the Dog is going to take this one. For Best Sound, we used to have sound mixing and sound editing. Now, since last year, I think we have only one category, and I think the movie that's going to win that is No Time to Die. I think that was the best sound design I have heard in a while in a movie. I think it was just perfection, and I think, to be honest, that action movies and science fiction movies should be the ones leading this category, like every year, for sure. I mean, the fact that the No Time to Die and to an extent Dune are the only action movies in this category is kind of wild. So that's why my bonus is A Quiet Place 2, because I think that movie really had an interesting sound design as the first one did. They also put musical movies in here too, like West Side Story. I don't have a clue why Belfast or The Power of the Dog have nominations here, because not Belfast, but The Power of the Dog I love. Even so, I don't understand why they're nominated here. My favorite one, again, No Time to Die. I think West Side Story will probably take it because they would want to give them something, but again, No Time to Die was superior to all the others. For Best Visual Effects, I'm going to say Dune takes this like so easily, because in the last few years they have been giving this award to the most subtle kind of work with visual effects, not really like heavy CGI, so that takes out the two Marvel movies and Free Guy. And I think No Time to Die, to be honest, the visual effects were bad. Were just not good at all, and it's based on explosions and buildings and green screen and that's kind of lazy, I think, a little bit. But I think Dune really did something a little bit different, a little bit more subtle, not in every scene but in some scenes, and also the big things too with the worms and all of that. So I think Dune is going to take it easily. For Best Adapted Screenplay, I think my favorite by far is Drive My Car in this category. I mean, I just love that movie and I would love for it to win this award because it really deserves it. However, there's also the movie Coda in this category. And I think, everyone is now saying, oh, what if Coda wins Best Picture? It won't win Best Picture, but I think they do want to give that movie something. And that something could be this Screenplay award, especially because it's about deaf people. So that screenplay must be really well written and well created in order to take that into account. So I see the Academy giving them that award. My personal favorite, again, is Drive My Car, but I think Coda could really win. It really would make sense. All these nominees are really good, to be honest. All these 5 nominees are amazing, but the category is really good. I think Coda is going to win the award, but my favorite is Drive My Car. For Best Original Screenplay, my favorite again is a foreign film, The Worst Person in the World. I think that movie did something amazing and really interesting with how women are portrayed in movies and how different cultures see the same things that we talk about, basically. But I don't think they're going to give if the other award for screenplay lands with Drive My Car, there's no way in hell they're going to give 2 foreign films 2 screenplay awards. That's just not happening. So I think Licorice Pizza is going to be the winner here, especially because Paul Thomas Anderson is an Academy darling, and I don't even know if he has an award. He has nominations for sure, but I don't think he has an award, so this is the perfect opportunity to give him that award. For a while, I thought Don't Look Up would win, but I think the writer of that screenplay already has an award, so that takes him out. King Richard and Belfast, I don't think that those were especially good screenplays, to be honest. Some people are predicting Kenneth Branagh, but I just don't see it. I think the movie Pig with Nicolas Cage should have been here for sure. I mean, that movie is superior. It would be in my second spot, maybe even my first spot in this category, because it was so good. But I think Licorice Pizza and Paul Thomas Anderson will win this award, the only one for them in this night. For Best Actor in a Supporting Role, my favorite one by far is Scott Smith McPhee, because his performance is just subtle. He's not screaming, he's not coming at you, he's not overly crazy, but I think that performance makes all the sense in the world, and it's just beautiful from beginning to end of that movie. But Troy Kotsur has been winning everything lately, the Critics' Choice, the BAFTA, the SAG, so it's kind of stupid to bet against him. So he will probably win the Academy Award, but my favorite here is Scott Smith McPhee. I think Masaki Okada in Drive My Car really did, again, a subtle but very powerful performance, and I think J.K. Simmons should have flown out of here and put Masaki Okada here because he was so much better. For Best Actress in a Supporting Role, my favorite, again, is not the one that's going to win. My favorite was Kirsten Dunst, because her performance was, again, so concentrated and so calculated and so slow, but really powerful at the same time. It really made all the sense in the world. However, Ariana DeBose has a lot going on for her. I mean, she would be one of the few Latina actresses to win an award. That pushes her forward, to be honest, and the fact that she's in West Side Story and she's playing Anita and all of that plays in her favor, and she has won everything recently, so she's going to win this for sure. But my favorite one of the bunch is clearly Kirsten Dunst. I think Ruth Negga was the one that was snubbed the house down boots for this award. I cannot even believe that she was not nominated. She was better than Judi Dench and Jessie Buckley, so I don't really get that, but yeah, crazy things. For actor in a leading role, I have to say that my favorite performance is one that I know won't win this award, but Andrew Garfield is just amazing. I just adore Andrew Garfield. He's such an amazing performer, such a beautiful guy, outstanding in every single way. He's amazing. He made that movie his own. He's such a fantastic force in the film industry, and I thank the Academy that they nominated him. However, he's not going to win for shit. I am so sorry that he doesn't have a chance, but we all know this is Will Smith's Oscar win. You know, it's cool for him. I didn't love him in King Richard. I think it was a little bit over the top. I mean, it's too much, to be honest, for me. For me, performances that like Andrew Garfield's, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Denzel Washington's are so much better than the one that Will Smith did, but he's going to win anyway. The person that I think should be here should be Nicolas Cage. I mean, I don't even know why Javier Bardem is here. He wasn't good in the Ricardos. No one was really that good in that movie, but somehow people loved it. Nicolas Cage was amazing in Pig, and I hope he gets so many more movies to show that he still has it. I mean, he's a fantastic actor. So, I mean, it's a shame he isn't here. For Best Actress in a Leading Role, Kristen Stewart was my favorite. It was the first performance out of these 5 that I watched, and even by the end, I was like, she's still the best. She still did something amazing with a character that we think we know, and she just did so much in so little time, in such a compressed space, if you will. So I think Kristen Stewart was the best one by far. I think that Jessica Chastain at this point seems the one that's going to win, because all the votes are getting so divided. Many people want Nicole Kidman to win, many people want Kristen Stewart to win, so that makes way for our third person to win. I think Olivia Colman and Penelope Cruz don't really have a shot at winning this. I mean, they are great actresses and their performances are so good, but I don't think they really have a realistic shot to win this award. I think Jessica Chastain is going to take it, and to be honest, I'm not that mad, because Jessica Chastain is such a great actress. She really deserves it. My favorite one, again, Kristen Stewart, and I think Renate Reinsve, the worst person in the world, was just an outstanding woman to see this year. She's just fantastic, and I hope she gets a lot of work out of that movie. For Best Directing, is really simple. Jane Campion is going to win this, like, hands down. She's my favorite. She's just going to win. She's going to be the second woman to win in a row, actually. who doesn't love that? I mean, who is against that? No one. I mean, no one with a brain is against that. I think Ryosuke Hamaguchi is the second best because what he did in Drive My Car was just perfection. And the last two nominees here, sure, whatever. I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson at least did something kind of interesting, but Kenneth Branagh and Steven Spielberg, I think they're kind of on autopilot, to be honest. Yeah, West Side Story was fine, but I mean, people just adore that movie for some reason, and it's fine. It's just fine. Chill out. Denis Villeneuve should have been here instead of Spielberg or Branagh for sure, and I won't even discuss that. And the last category is Best Picture. I think The Power of the Dog is going to take this easily. It doesn't even have competition. It's my favorite also of the bunch. So it's going to take this so easy. People are predicting Coda. Some people are predicting other movies to win. But I think The Power of the Dog is just in the lead. And that's undeniable at this point. So it's going to win. I would have loved to see The Tragedy of Macbeth and Tick Tick Boom nominated instead of West Side Story or Nightmare Alley, to be honest, because I didn't think those movies were that good to be nominated for Best Picture. But yeah, whatever. The Power of the Dog is winning this, and I'm so happy for that movie. And let's see what happens in the Academy Awards this Sunday. Sorry if this video is too long, but you know, many categories have to be talked about, so whatever. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please comment down below whatever you think about all of these movies and about the Oscars, the Academy Awards, and I will see you very soon. Please subscribe to this channel and of course like this video. Thank you so much. Goodbye.